right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave. Happy Easter at Palm Sunday. Next week will be Easter. I brought out the purple just ahead of time in case you were wondering. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Love to hear from you on the weekend that was. There was a lot of stuff going on. You saw the end of that UConn game, which is just incredible to me how it ended up. Duke's a team, although a lot of those guys on the floor are freshmen, but still they had to be aware of the situation, which was they had a 2-point lead. They had a ball inbounding under their own basket. You knew that UConn had to foul them. Ball comes in. One boozer goes to another guy, back to the other boozer. He throws it away. There's a tip. Somehow UConn got possession, and they needed a 40-foot magic buzzer beater, and they got one, which is, you know, Braylon Mullins has not shot the ball well at all. In fact, I think today they were 5 for like 19 from three-point range. But of all things, that goes in, and UConn wins. You have to wonder what they were thinking out there, and certainly John Shire had to let them know that, man, all you got to do is hold on to the ball. They'll foul you, go to the line. If you make one, that's great. If you make two, they have no chance at winning, but it didn't work out that way. You want to talk about March Madness, that's exactly what you got right there. So that sets up the Final Four, which you will see. UConn will take on Illinois. This is next weekend, Saturday, and then the championship game on Monday. And the other one has a very interesting battle of number 1 seeds, Arizona against Michigan. Your thoughts on that, which was a crazy finish today. And I know a lot of people want to talk about the Pirates and O'Neal Cruz. I will say this today. He did make up for what happened in day one. Not that it completely made up, because I thought that was just indefensible. He made 2 terrible plays, and plays he should be making. He's been in the outfield long enough to know how to make them. In that opener for Paul Skeens, which was charged for 5 runs, his ERA is now 67.50. Who thought that after one game of the season? But today, a nice relay at the bottom of the 10th inning. The Mets, for some reason, chose to send Lindor home on a gap shot to left center field. Soto hit it. 1 run came in to make it 4-3. They give him a green light, and he's thrown out at the plate. It started with O'Neal Cruz. He goes to Triolo to Davis, who applied the tag. Quite frankly, that was a terrible call by the third base coach or Lindor, whoever's responsible for it. You want to set up second and third, no outs. You're down 1. You have a chance with a single to win the game. You should most likely tie the game and force an 11th inning like they saw yesterday, but it didn't happen that way. But Cruz made a nice throw. But the question with Cruz is, what do you do with him, and how long do you wait if this continues? It's not just this start of the season. It dates back to last year and ever since he's been converted to center fielder. I realize that's a tough conversion for someone who played shortstop. But he's out there, and he needs to do it better, quite frankly. Now, if he hits 30 home runs and drives in 120, then you can do whatever you want out there in center field, I think, because this team has needed offense, and he is looked at as a guy who should provide some more offense. But you got to be better on some of those routine plays, and I thought what we saw in the opener were 2 routine plays. One, where he came in on the fly ball, was more of a line drive, and he shouldn't have done it. It's easier to go back, come in if you have to. He went in and couldn't get back, went over his head. Beatty had a triple, 3 runs scored on that game. I also have, I know that official scores typically do not award errors unless you touch the ball and mess it up that way. But quite frankly, those should not be charged to Paul Skeens. Those should have been outs, and he should have been out of that inning. Instead, they scored 5 runs in that inning. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what lies ahead, because now they have the Cincinnati Reds for 3 games starting tomorrow. First time you're going to see Braxton Ashcraft on the mound. Then it's going to be Bubba Chandler after that. And then on Wednesday, on their getaway day, it probably will be Skeens. He's slotted to start right there and would set up Mitch Keller as the home opening starting pitcher on Friday. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Let us know about that. Also should tell you that Andrew McCutchen had a nice weekend, his first with the Texas Rangers. And man, 4 for 9 on the weekend. He had a home run today. He drove in 4. That's quite better than what we've seen so far from Marcell Ozuna. Again, it's only 3 games, but good opportunity for McCutchen. He's made the most of it down there in Texas. Also want to get into the Penguins. We'll have a big game tomorrow night against the Islanders. To me, they got to win in regulation, deny them points, get 2, jump ahead of them. They still have a game in hand over the Islanders. That game will be played on Tuesday when Detroit comes to town. But today, Columbus, they had a chance to win that game outright against Boston. They scored 3 first-period goals, led 3-0, 3-0 into the third period. And then Boston got 2 goals, tighten it up. They pull the goalie. They get the equalizer. They then win it in a shootout. So Columbus, instead of getting 2, get 1, puts them into the second wild card at 88 points. However, they're still 1 back of the Islanders, tied with the Penguins. The Penguins have a tiebreaker over them. This is going to go right down to the final. It could be the final game of the season against the St. Louis Blues, of all things. As far as scheduling is concerned, that one's on April the 14th. A lot to get into, so I want to hear from you at 412-575-2600. That's the number to call. You're watching the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're live here on KDKA Plus, and most nights 93.7 The Fan. Call us and air your opinion. All right, welcome back, and this is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Christian Plus, who says Connor Griffin's first series in AAA is in the books. And look at this. This is 3 games this past weekend. And it makes me wonder when they're going to bring him up, because he's mature enough. He looks like he's ready to go here. 3 games, batting average of 500. You see the OPS of 1135, 2 doubles, 2 stolen bases, 3 walks, plus superb fielding as well at shortstop. So sooner or later, that's going to happen. The question is just when. And the Pirates, like I said, you want to get off to a good start. You want to have your best people up here. If he's one of them, then he needs to be here. We'll see what they do and what the timeline is on that. 412-575-2600. Let's get right to the phone calls. We got a lot of them, beginning with John and Cranberry. Hello, John. How are you?
Hey, happy Sunday evening to you, Bob.
You too.
I just wanted to quickly say I saw yesterday you were at the defending champ Riverhounds opener last night. They beat Jacksonville 3-2.
Yes, 3-2.
So congratulations to them.
Yeah, hopefully they have another good year. That was fun to see them win last year the way they did.
That was fantastic. So great games back-to-back for the Pirates in New York, and I'm glad they got the win today. My question to you, though, Bob, is I wanted to get your opinion now. You've seen a few games of the ABS Pitch Challenge. Mm-hmm. I really like it because of 2 reasons. The speed of it, how fast they do it, and I also like it because you can only do it twice. You have to know when to challenge and when not to. But what are your thoughts on it so far after seeing it for a few games? Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, thank you, John. I love it, actually. And for the first point you mentioned, it's very quick. And fans in the stadium know exactly. It's right on the scoreboard. You can see it doesn't take long. Either the catcher, the batter, or the pitcher. Those are the only 3 people who could use it and indicate they want it. Nobody from the dugout can. You have to make these decisions rather quickly. I was watching the Cincinnati game, and I noticed that it was done on back-to-back pitches. Eugenio Suarez was up, and it was interesting because the bases were loaded. And it could change the outcome of an entire inning. There was a strike call, and it would have been the 3rd strike on him. He challenged it. It was a ball. The very next pitch called strike 3 again. He challenged it. It was a ball. And I think they got runs out of that inning because they ended up with like 10 or 12 in that game. So, yeah, I think it's fun. I think you have to be mindful. You can't just use it early in the game if you don't think it's worth it. In fact, I would be surprised if teams use it early in the game. I think I'd wait a little bit to see how things go before I would, because if you miss it, you lose one, and then you could run out of them. You don't have any left. So, but I like it. I think and I like the speed of it more than anything else. All right, let's go out to Ron in Greensburg, who joins us here on the Sports Call. Hello, Ron. How are you?
Hey, Bob. Thanks. Good evening. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Very happy that they pulled one out today. I think they could have won 2 of these games. But what I'm even happier about is the play of Henry Davis. So I'm hoping people will give the guy a little bit of a pass anymore. He's played really good defense. He threw out a guy stealing today.
That was big, too.
At the plate. Got the game-winning hit, what ended up being today. And then the other day he had a double, bringing the game close the other day. So I'm really happy for the kid. I really root hard for him because I know he has a lot of naysayers, but I think he's put his act together pretty well right now.
I could not agree with you more on that one, Ron. Honestly, I root for him too. He works hard. He doesn't make excuses. He gets up there. He's a no-nonsense guy. I remember when he first came into the league, he was known as a bat, not a glove. In fact, they said he was not a very good defensive catcher. So what did he do? He worked on it. Now he's one of the best defensive catchers you're going to find. And you're right. He threw out a guy today, made a great tag into the face of, who was it, Juan Soto today? Whoever was on base. Or no, it was Lindor who came in. And he calls a good game. Those pitchers really want him there. So if that hitting could just improve, even if it's gradual improvement, you'll take that in the hopes that one day he can get to where he needs to be. And to me, my expectation from him, ceiling-wise, is like a 250 average with 15 home runs, 50 runs batted in. I'll take that. given his defense and what he's able to do there. Good call. Thank you very much. Let's go out to Bob in the North Hills. Hey, Bob. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Bob?
All right, man.
I just wanted to say something about them not bringing back McCutcheon. You know, like having O'Neal Cruz at in center field, making all them. It looks like he has 2 left feet. You know, out there. You know, like just having. If they would have brought McCutcheon back, they could have used him out there in center field. You know,
Kutch has not played a lot in the outfield. He still believes he can, but I don't think a team would put him out there. He's a designated hitter down in Texas. He would have been that here again largely. But when they made the commitment to Ozuna, there was really no room for him. Now, Ozuna better light it up this year as well because he's not off to the greatest of starts. And as far as Cruz, I mean, we're talking about options. What do you really do with O'Neal Cruz? You know, I think at this point you just have to keep playing him. It's early in the season. I heard Ben Cherington today say on his radio show that he thought getting to the World Baseball Series was hurtful to Cruz. Not because he went there and he had a chance to compete among the best in the game. He thought that was good and he hit a home run. But he didn't get to play center field because they have too many guys out there. So, he hadn't really worked on center field for like 3 weeks. Excuse or not, whatever that is, reason, it's got to be better. He's been doing this for a while now. He shouldn't have to go through a whole learning process just because he went to the World Baseball Classic. He should know how to play center field, and it would be also helpful if he looked like he was engaged a lot. Too many times he looks like he's not engaged in what's going on out there, and that has to change. He's too talented to move off from. You can't play him at third. Some people have suggested that. First, I don't want to do that. You can't be a DH now that you have Ozuna unless you platoon him, and I don't know that would work out great either. You got to keep playing him. And he has to just take it upon himself to get better. Back to the lines we go. It's Chuck in Uniontown. Hello, Chuck.
Good evening, Bob, and thanks once again. I'd like to know your Final Four pick. And if the Islanders get any points tomorrow night, are the Penguins in trouble?
No, I don't. Chuck, I think tomorrow it would be incumbent on them to get 2. Even if they don't, they still have time. The Islanders have a pretty tough schedule also. They have the Sabres after the Penguins. Then they have, 2 games against the Carolina Hurricanes. So and there are other teams on there also that are difficult, Canadiens. So these are all teams looking for points. I mean, it's a point collection business right now. And yes, you want to get 2 tomorrow. You don't want to give the Islanders 1. In other words, I don't want to see that game to go to overtime. I think the Penguins need a regulation win. That would hurt New York. Penguins still have a game in hand on them. They come home to take on Detroit the very next day. So, no, none of that is must. We're not in must territory yet, but you want to create a little bit of space and separation because there are 7 teams right now vying for these same spots, whether it's wild card or second and third in the division. Bob in Monroeville is next up. Hello, Bob. How are you?
How you doing tonight, Bob?
I'm good, thank you. We've had a run on Bob's.
Well, that's okay. You're Bob, aren't you?
Yes, same backwards or forwards.
But anyway, as far as the Pirates go, thankfully they got O'Hearn and Lau because they've created all the offense for us. But
so far, yes.
As far as Cruz, what is his contract situation? Is he still not paid well?
He's arbitration. He got a $3.3 million award this year, so that's what he's making this year.
So next year is going to be
more arbitration.
Big year.
I mean,
right?
Next year is another arbitration year, unless they want to engage in him in some sort of long-term talks, which I do not see happening right now. What I do see happening is they're going to see how this goes and play it out and make a decision at the end of the year about next year. But it's on him to get better. If he wants to cash in on a bigger number, if he has a good year offensively, he can go to arbitration and take $3.3 million and turn it into $10 million or more, depending on how big the season is. So it's all on his plate. He has to, start doing what people expect him to do. After all, he is 27. He's not some rookie or 23-year-old. He's 27. He's been around for quite a while. By the way, Chuck, my Final Four is nowhere near what this one is. I did have Arizona going there, but I didn't see Illinois getting into this. I thought UConn would lose. I thought they'd lose to St. John's. They didn't do that. Patino, by the way, is getting a new extension of a contract. And it looks like Billy Donovan is going to be the new head coach at North Carolina. Illinois and UConn should be all UConn, although Illinois is on a little bit of a run themselves. Michigan, Arizona will be a really good game. Take a break, come back with more. Call us at 412-575-2600. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We're live here on KDKA Plus and 93.7 The Fan. Oh, hello. I'm sorry. I was paying attention to my phone and not hearing. I'm sorry about that. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. We're here talking about a weekend that was, which the Pirates lost 2 of 3 to the Mets. They're moving on to Cincinnati. And we'll see what the Reds, they got a pretty exciting team. And Suarez has already gone yard over there. He likes playing in that ballpark. One of the reasons he went there was for that. And we'll see if the Pirates come away with some wins. You're going to see 2 guys I'm really anxious to see. Braxton Ashcraft tomorrow, and then it's Bubba Chandler after that. Before you see Skeens. So the Reds may have plenty of pitching against them in this game. I think if you're looking at this 3-game series in New York, you have to be encouraged by a couple of things. That first game was just one of those games, and O'Neill Cruz was mostly responsible for what you saw. Yesterday was a hard-fought game, and it was a good start by Mitch Keller, and pretty good work by the bullpen until the end. Hunter Barco had not pitched all year, and he sacrificed, that situation coming in and gave up a 3-run home run to Luis Robert. Somebody I was interested in the offseason. I thought maybe the Pirates might want to go after him, but they didn't. The Mets did. They made a trade to get him from the White Sox. So, but that was still a very competitive game. Now, the problem was they had many guys on base. They stranded a ton of guys yesterday, and they still stranded a lot of guys today, even though they won that game. And the hitting of O'Hearn and Lau, both newcomers, both very good. Lau, as I said, 3 home runs. O'Hearn had a couple of big hits today, so they need to keep that going and get other guys who have been here, like Reynolds, like Cruz, like Triolo, if he's going to play every day. All these guys need to get more accountable in the hitting department, but it's only 3 games. We'll see what happens before the home opener comes up on Friday, 3 against Cincinnati. Again, tomorrow, the big news here would be the Penguins at the Islanders. It's a big week. The Penguins have the Islanders tomorrow, and then they have Detroit on Tuesday at home. And then they have Tampa Bay, and then back-to-back against the Florida Panthers, defending champs. And I realize they're not in this conversation, but they're still defending champs. So they're going to be a very big week for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that's going to do it for us. Join us for the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. We're on after the late news tonight with Chris Adamski, Jeff Hathorn, and Ray Fittipaldo. I'm Bob Pompeani. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night right here. Same time, same channel. 10:35 is your start time. Have a good night, everyone.